The long security lines, the delays, the fees, the lack of leg room. It is perhaps not surprising that incidents of air rage are on the rise these days. What is surprising is to see a full-on meltdown play out on videotape, as just happened on a cross-country flight. Tonight, ABC's David Wright takes us inside this incident and inside the minds of the crew members who increasingly have to deal with this kind of thing.
Freak out at 40,000 feet.
All of a sudden, this guy who was sleeping just woke up out of nowhere and started flipping out.
The passenger on this JetBlue flight to Las Vegas this weekend so distraught, he punched and kicked the seats of his neighbors as flight attendants struggled to restrain him.
Everyone was freaking out. I was a little nervous. I wasn't sure what the guy was trying to actually do.
We do apologize for the inconvenience.
And it's become surprisingly common. According to the International Air Transport Association, incidents of air rage are up dramatically. More than 8,000 incidents worldwide this past year, including physical assaults, drunkenness, and just rude behavior.
I'm pointing. You told me to point. Don't be a hot ass.
There's a bomb on the plane!
YouTube is full of examples.
There's a bomb!
Flight attendants say they can often spot likely troublemakers well before takeoff.
It's not hard to spot them. On my last flight, a guy walked on and say, "Hi, how are you?" "I'm not happy."
Once you're up in the air, in a confined space with, let's face it, limited creature comforts, things can escalate fast.
Whoa. That's it, you're stuck 6 hours in a flying tube at 35,000 feet. But if something escalates in flight, no one's coming. There's no police to call, there's no firemen to call.
On this spring break charter to Mexico back in the 90s, this male flight attendant apparently decided the best way to keep his unruly passengers happy was to MC the wet t-shirt contest they were holding on board. Needless to say, he was soon out of a job. Alcohol isn't the only fuel for in-flight outbursts. Any small issue can get blown out of proportion when the air is thin.
Everybody's just yelling at everybody. No one has empathy.
That's gotten a bit better since the FAA recently allowed us to keep our electronic pacifiers going from gate to gate. Here in the U.S., officials say incidents of unruly passengers are down. Alec Baldwin's probably happy about that. He famously refused to stop playing Words with Friends on an American Airlines flight. Got thrown off the plane. Then went on Saturday Night Live to jokingly ask for an apology.
And on behalf of everyone at American Airlines, issue an apology to Mr. Alec Baldwin.
Famous faces have to be just as careful as the rest of us. Just ask Naomi Campbell. In 2008, her first-class tirade on board a British Airways flight became international news, ultimately landing her in court.
I'm not saying what my behavior was correct. I guess I just took it too far, maybe.
The supermodel pled guilty to assaulting 2 police officers. She agreed to pay a fine, but avoided jail time. Reportedly, BA banned her for life. Crew members can lose it too. The most famous examples being Captain Clayton Osborne, filmed ranting in the aisle on a flight from New York to Las Vegas. The co-pilot got an off-duty pilot to replace him in the cockpit, while a passenger, who happened to be a former corrections officer, restrained the ranting pilot.
He kicked the door. He kicked the door and almost buckled. He says, "It's me, let me in. This is where we take the plane down."
The plane diverted to Amarillo, Texas, where the captain was sent for psychiatric evaluation and eventually charged with interfering with a flight crew. The other famous cabin crew incident was when flight attendant Stephen Slater memorably quit his job over the loudspeaker, grabbed a beer from the drinks cart, popped the emergency exit, and went down the inflatable slide.
Did you know at that point that you were ending your career as a flight attendant?
Oh, yes.
This was a dramatic exit.
It was a dramatic exit.
This weekend, there were not 1 but 2 incidents on JetBlue. In addition to the freak out en route to Vegas, there was another incident involving a mother and her 3-year-old daughter. An overzealous flight attendant refused to let the 3-year-old go to the bathroom during a long delay on the tarmac. The child ended up peeing on her seat.
I didn't have any towels or napkins with me. No one offered to bring me anything to help clean it up. I took the sweater off my body and soaked up
the mess with my clothes.
When the girl's mother got up to dry off her daughter, even though the fasten seatbelt sign was lit, the JetBlue flight crew was less than sympathetic.
We have a non-compliant passenger on this flight. We're bringing her back to the gate to security.
An off-duty pilot and other passengers who witnessed the incident intervened on the woman's behalf. JetBlue has now offered her an apology. There'll be no apology forthcoming for the other JetBlue incident this weekend, but no criminal charges either. Flight attendants handcuffed and subdued the unruly passenger on the New York to Vegas flight, escorting him to the rear of the plane away from other passengers. The captain then diverted the plane to Detroit.
As soon as we get the passenger off, we'll be right back on our way.
Where everyone had to wait 2 hours as police took the passenger into custody. Authorities now say the cause of this mid-air meltdown was a medical issue. The passenger evaluated at a hospital and later released. He's home now. Authorities say the 62-year-old passenger won't be charged with a crime because the plane was never in jeopardy. Although at 45,000 feet, it can be hard to tell. I'm David Wright for Nightline in Los Angeles.